So let's talk about averaging down and the strategy I was talking about. Nvidia opened today at 129 and change. And from the opening price, it has dropped. Well, it dropped down to 124. So if you'd set a limit order of 125, even though you looked at Friday's close and you set a limit order of 125 to pick up some shares, you would have come into some shares of Nvidia. Now, you always want to buy your position in trenches. Don't buy all the shares you want of a given stock at one price. The example I gave is very illustrative of how averaging down using limit orders work. But to understand that, to appreciate it, you have to run a paper trade. Do it on paper first and see how it works out. It might work out over a week, it might take 3 months for it to work out. Don't worry about it. It's a learning process. And over that learning process, we all become better investors. I never knew this strategy was possible until Josh Brown on CNBC explained how he used it to come into shares of Meta platforms, Facebook. You know, he put in a ridiculously low price, which was, oh, well, let me just roll the dice and see what happens. And several weeks, probably several months after he put in that limit order, something happened in the market. Something happened with Meta. No one can predict what will happen. And that's why you use, well, I use limit orders as someone fishing would bait a hook and just put it in the river, just put it in the lake. You don't know what will happen, right? The more hooks you bait and put in the river and put in the lake, the greater your probability. So let's get back to Nvidia today, opening at 129. And we see that it has already dropped. In less than 2 hours, it touched 124 and change. So go ahead and play around with that, right? We don't know what earnings will be. You know, no one knows what the earnings will be. So you could put a market order in for however many shares you want to buy at the market price, but at the same time, you put in your limit orders and you average down based using limit orders. So without oh, that's a beautiful house. Beautiful house. Talking about, I remember when this house sold.